morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm currently in Dambulla. So Dambulla is a city situation or station close to Sigiriya, which is a famous rock in Sri Lanka. However, today I'm going for a special thing to do, which is known as safari tour. If you don't know already, there are over 16 national parks in Sri Lanka, and the famous one being Yala, located in the southern part. But if it's famous, usually it's overcrowded, and I've decided to go on to this tour because first, it's less crowded. Second, I think the chances of seeing elephants are much higher in their natural habitat, right? The cost of this tour quite expensive if you're going alone. But because I'm staying in a guest house like this, there are many other guests that are coming, so we're able to break down the cost for the jeep. The journey itself could be like 4 hours return. I don't know what to expect. I'm hoping to see beautiful large mammals of elephants in their natural habitat. Oh shoot, don't do that. Just got to the entrance to the Kaudula National Park. Historically, Kaudula used to be one of the 16 irrigation water tanks that was built by one of the king of Sri Lanka in their history. However, due to abandonment, and it was reconstructed back in 1959. And after that, it attracts so many wildlife, and it becomes the source for plantations, wild animals, and everything like that. So we are required to pay 5,000, including 4,000 something like that for entrance fee, and the remaining for sharing costs for the jeep. Located quite outside of the city, so it's important to, I think, share the costs with other travelers. Pretty much packed. In the jeep, so it's either you can stand right there and seats available, but I think it's gonna be a lot more fun to stand and see and oversee what's going to come and what are we going to see. Maximum one jeep supposed to only contain 6 or 7 if anything.
As we drove into the national park down a dusty track, it suddenly opened up to show the massive plains and the water tank that the elephants are attracted to for water. It was incredible to suddenly be surrounded by these beautiful animals. The Sri Lankan subspecies is the largest and also the darkest of the Asian elephants, with patches of depigmentation, areas with no skin color on its ears, face, trunk, and belly. Once found throughout Sri Lanka, these elephants are now being pushed into smaller areas as development activities clear forests and disrupt their ancient migratory routes. The Sri Lankan elephant population has fallen almost 65% since the turn of the 19th century. Today, the Sri Lanka elephant is protected under the Sri Lankan law, and killing one carries the death penalty. Although they aren't poached anywhere near as much as their African cousins, their forest homes are being rapidly fragmented. Now, where is the problem more acute than in Sri Lanka? It accounts for just 2% of their total habitat, yet its home is to over 5,000 Asian elephants, more than 10% of the remaining global population. That so many elephants remain here is a testament to the species' cultural importance in the country. The majority of Sri Lankans are Buddhists, and elephants feature prominently in a number of stories about the Buddha's previous reincarnations. As the island grows increasingly crowded and their habitat disappears, the lives of elephants and humans are overlapping more and more. This puts Sri Lanka's many farmers at constant odds with the animals. Sri Lanka has attempted to solve the problem by moving elephants to national parks, such as this one. Although there is an attempt at conservation for these animals, Sri Lanka's parks often lack the resources necessary to support hundreds of additional elephants, each of which is up to 140 kilograms of vegetation per day. This can lead to starvation for many elephants in the park. I recommend anyone visiting the country to do research on the issues and pick their tours or programs responsibly for the sake of animals.
The journey of this particular tour is mostly from the guest house that you're in. You're being picked up and then driveway through the Kapda. Mostly we're watching the elephants around this area because the water tanks, the source of water is around this area, so that's where the elephants are gathering and eating grass, just in natural habitats. And there are tiny, tiny elephants playing around, even crying. And it's just so amazing to see them. And we're just watching silently, admiring the elephant. There was a time where a lot of the trucks became too close to another and too close to the elephants in one of the herds that we saw. And I think the mother of the elephant became angry, and it was too offensive, or probably crossing the boundaries of the elephants. And turns out one of the elephants was chasing one of the jeeps, so everyone was like trying to avoid that, and that experience itself put me off, because I was thinking we got too close to their natural habitat and probably disturbing her personally. But not long after that, we got to the water tanks, and that's where a lot of elephants, like not hundreds, I think just almost 50 or even more, gathering together. And also they are, just in their most natural habitat. So it was really, really personally fascinating for me, because this is my very first experience of wildlife. And yeah, it was just 2 hours watching, and all of us were silently admiring the beautiful mammals, the smart elephants. I'm happy because the way we saw the elephants was nothing about elephant performance. There was nothing about elephant riding, which is a huge no-no, which is very unethical. It's just watching them in the afternoon, eating, playing around, just being themselves, which is the best way to see them.
It's pretty much done with the safari tour. We are heading back to Dambulla. I hope that you enjoyed the experience with the elephants, because I did very much so. It was such fascinating to see elephants in their wildlife. Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. See you again next time.